Hey everyone, welcome. I am MisterBo, and in today's video we're going to be taking a look at the Wardcliff Coil, otherwise known as the Duboius Volley. So this is an exotic rocket launcher you are able to acquire through exotic engrams. This is the only way you can get this weapon at the moment. In the future, Xur may be selling it. But let's take a look at this weapon. So the description reads, ingenuity, desperation, a haphazard prototype of terrible power. Such were the factors at play in the Wardcliff incident. So we can take a look at the exotic intrinsic perk here. We have Mad Scientist. This weapon fires a volley of rockets. We then have Volatile Launch, which greatly increases the blast radius, slightly decreases handling speed, and slightly decreases the projectile speed. That's then followed by Extended Mag, which greatly increases the magazine size and greatly decreases the reload speed. After that, we have Mechanized Autoloader, which is the trait for this weapon. This weapon automatically reloads on ammo pickup. And then finally, we have Composite Stock, slightly increased stability and slightly increased the handling speed. So this is definitely an exotic weapon. You can tell by the look of this thing. It looks really weird, like nothing we've seen in Destiny before. And if you're familiar with this weapon, you know it was first found way back in the Taken King in the database, and then it never came out. But here it is in Destiny 2. So let's take a look at this thing in action, because it is pretty powerful, but it also does have some downsides to it, and we'll take a look at those just now. So as I mentioned, this thing's super powerful. If you're against a load of different adds, you can just fire it and these volley rockets will just spread off and go to different enemies and destroy them. Same goes for PvP. If you're up against some enemies, you don't really know where they are, you can sort of roughly aim to where they were and these things will track over to them and destroy them. However, the downside of this weapon comes mainly in PvE. For instance, you might be doing the Nightfall, you might be doing the Rat King quest where you need to kill things in a certain time and complete that Nightfall in a certain time. This thing is pretty bad for aiming at things. For instance, a tank, you're trying to aim at the tank's weak spots, you shoot this thing and the rockets just volley off and maybe don't even hit the tank, go to nearby enemies. This thing isn't really very precise, you can't really go and aim at one thing and hope to try and hit it. That is the downside of this weapon. But if you're going against a moving boss that's maybe not a tank, or if you're against a load of adds in a big cluster, this thing will absolutely wreck them, and that's really where this weapon shines. I can see this being useful for ad control in things like the raid. Again, in Nightfall, that's where I used it, and we managed to get through the Nightfall in pretty good time. So I definitely think this is a situation exotic. You don't want to be using this all the time, but there are those situations where this thing will absolutely beast it. Now we can also take a look at the lore tab for this weapon that reads, Hamit's log. The lead is good, but so are the fallen tracking me. I swear on my ghost there's 100 camped outside. I'm cornered in the lab and they're using shanks to run me out of ammunition. War cultist, arm thyselves, at least it's a weapons lab. This rustic device was once an experimental axion emitter which sprays weird particles to light up the basement of the universe. Right here I've coupled the emitter to some catacaustic quark gluon coils, which will not, due to my scrupulous safety checking, create a strangelet that devours the earth. I cook up some pain in there, the microverse decays and the result comes out here. If it doesn't work, well, please name the crater after me. So there you have it, that is the Wardcliff Coil, a really cool looking exotic weapon that can be useful in certain situations. Again, if you want to get this, it drops via exotic engrams. This weapon also has an ornament which you can get from Eververse, and we can take a look at that now. So here is the Tesla's Revenge, the ornament for the Wardcliff Coil. Personally, I prefer the gun without the ornament. The ornament is pretty cool, it has that sort of purpley vibe to it, which some people might like, but for me personally, I prefer it without the ornament. And of course, that is available from Eververse through Bright Engrams. So there you have, that is the Wardcliff Coil, otherwise known as the Duboius Volley. A fairly decent exotic rocket launcher. Out of the exotic weapons I've had so far, this is definitely on the higher list of them. But let me know what you guys think. If you've got this weapon, do you enjoy using it? If you haven't got it, is this something you're going to try and get? Let me know in the comments below. If you guys enjoyed this video, if this helped out in any way, feel free to give the like button a big old hug. Subscribe for more Destiny 2 content and coverage. Boop that bell to be notified when my videos go live. Hopefully you guys have an awesome day, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye bye.